Good evening. This is Sue for New Jersey Mycological Taxonomy Tuesday. This is where our members share their local fungal finds or from their trips. Like this week, there was our regional gathering, NYMF, up in Vermont, I believe it was. So some people have pictures from that to show. So we'll start now. So show us style. If anybody wants to share from the computer, do you want to volunteer to go first? No one volunteering yet?
I'll go.
Okay, go ahead, Chris. I hope you got my dung fungi identified for me.
Uh,
No? Okay.
I got some pictures. We're going to talk about it.
Okay.
First, I found these in my neighborhood. And
Did you smell them?
yeah, but I don't trust that thing.
Well, I mean, it's an important trait sometimes. I mean, what did they smell like?
They were firm, they were slickery on top when I found them.
Smell, Clitocybe?
I'm talking about the odor, the scent. Do they smell like anything pleasant or unpleasant?
I mean, to me, they smelled mushroomy.
Okay.
More than that, I just can't provide.
Right.
A little notch at the bottom, which they all seem to have. The margin enrolled a bit on everything. Pinkish spore print.
So, Sue, I would agree with your assessment as Clitocybe sensolato, because that's what a lot of things on the mole are.
Sensolato? Or you mean you don't know, right?
Sensolato in a broad sense.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
not Clitocybe as a single genus. It's a Clitocybe as a probably polyphyletic assemblage of clitocyboid fungi.
Now I knew what it was. My guess was because it's clustered and it's sort of pale all over.
Yeah, it's pale. The gills are tight, and they could be even subdecurrent. They were not here, but in some species like that present themselves as clusters, they can be decurrent. And one name that consistently, I think, shows up on the Mo, even for our collections, is Clitocybe subconnexa. I don't think that these are that, but I'm just saying that that's the name that often shows up.
And they are usually around this time of year, right? They're sort of like the beginning of the fall.
Correct. Yeah. At the cusp of the seasons. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of clusters all around. I just plucked a whole cluster right out.
Igor, how would you characterize the smell of that genus?
Well,
Yeah.
not genus, but those particular species that we found at
particular ones.
Smithville, for instance, they smell very sweet and fragrant, very pleasant. Kind of a sweet chocolate odor kind of thing. Very strong too.
Well,
So I wouldn't call them like mushroomy. I'm just, they were more fragrant.
When I say mushroomy, that's a thing that I enjoy. Like,
yeah, but there's
that's
a particular
when I say
fungal
that,
odor.
that's a good thing.
Yeah, but there's like a generic fungal odor that's pleasant, and then there's a other scents that are also pleasant, but they're more perfumed, I would say.
Yeah, because I came across a thing that it was. What was the suggestion that it was? I think it was an old name, like something a Lepista, something, which
Yeah, it's now in, I think,
Yeah.
Colibia. Yeah.
Cool.
So maybe it is some kind of a Colibia, not Clitocybe. Unfortunately, we don't have Dave here.
Yeah.
What's that? Macro. Macrophylla. Um,
What? I'm sorry.
um,
Macrolipiota.
No,
no,
it's not a Macrolepiota. It's a not
ma
Megacolibia.
yeah,
It's not macro. It's I forget. They kind of look generic. I think they're probably more colibioid than clitocyboid.
Yeah, I was thinking that gill attachment for one.
The
Yeah, it's
the
yeah,
notched.
the notched. Yeah, it goes down and then up. Yep. Um, what's
Yeah, and
that genus things?
well, there's also what is it? Liophyllum? Aren't there some white
Biophyllum. That's yeah. But these are too white to be that, I
Well,
think.
I think there are some white species. I'll look at it real quick.
those really vary, I think, in color.
Yeah, like even the Decastes group, although
Yeah,
the stem seemed to have some ornamentation on it. If we can go back to that.
Yeah, Biophyllum decastes is kind of grayish brown or brownish
Yeah.
caps. It's not white.
Yeah, these were pretty well white. I mean, the color's pretty good because I was taking these pictures like as I usually do on the windowsill.
I
And
just
again,
went. I just went to Myco, Quebec, and I'm looking at the Liophyllum, and the first picture they have for Liophyllum Decastes is white.
Michael Coe doesn't have it white, but it's a species complex. And
Yeah.
remember that paper, Brandon? That I
Mhm.
think I was trying to work on a sequence, but it was so much work I sort of put on the back burner. But that paper was so thick in the sense that it was so loaded with data, it was very difficult to read.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep. That's where I ran. You're better to do that than I am. I ran into the same thing. I'm just
I,
gonna
I
plop this.
I had to basically build trees based on the tree in the paper and see where my thing is going to end up. And I found out that I had to deal with 100 sequences. And I said, I don't think I have time to do this
Right.
because the the, the greatest amount of data that goes into this exercise is aligning and trimming the sequences because the tree, you can generate like in 5 minutes or less. But it's getting those sequences properly um, um, processed before you can plug them into the tree building program.
All
Not
right.
to mention,
Well,
you have to search for them individually and fish them out from GenBank.
Do we tell from the spores whether it's which one of those genuses it might be, genera?
Well, that's what I was about to say. They were pink, so they were not white.
Yeah,
So
but the
that
spore
would
shape,
probably
does that
put
make
them
a
into
difference?
Libya, I would say, more than Clitocybe or Liphylum.
yeah, I don't know about the shape, but I got some more to look into at least. So I also have so this was a piece of poo that Sue gave me.
Yes.
Deer, I think
Yes,
that's what I
yeah.
thought.
Yeah, I've been looking at the ones in my yard, and yes, it comes pretty much compacted like big too.
Yeah, and you can see they're all they're like they have a little stipe and then a like the top part. They seemed more like slime moldy to me. I have
Yeah.
I have some that I collected onto a slide, which I haven't gotten to yet. But man, that thing was covered.
Yeah, it's the only time I noticed it. Lots of green. They appear green in person. I mean, I don't know any green slimes.
Yeah, it looked like this thing was covered in a lichen.
Yes.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, so I got some on a slide. More to be done.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know when this thing would, reach its, telomorphic stage, but I think it's still in the anamorph. All that dusty green is just going to be a bunch of conidia. Um, but I don't know what this thing is.
Is this
I would
something which
bet.
you sent to Virginia? Do you think she might notice it?
I don't know. Does she study fungi on dung?
Oh, so you're back to thinking as fungi. I mean, this is not looking, because you were mentioning that this could look like a slime at one point here. The last few
Oh
minutes
no,
somebody was, we still
I
think
didn't
it's
mention.
fungi. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't mention that. It's a
Yeah, I meant in the last 5 minutes
fungus.
that probably not you, but yeah.
Yeah, this is just individuals sitting on the slide. Yeah,
Okay, well, thanks for getting so far for me, Chris.
yeah, yeah. I was at first like because it was rolling around a bit and it seemed like it got like a little crushed or whatever. But once I started looking at it, I was like, oh man, them things hold up pretty good.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that again next week.
Anything else from Scotland Rod or uh, Chris, for you? That it?
No, I didn't bring anything home, but if
Okay.
if Igor had any note on that Agaricus, I'd love to hear it.
I'm sorry, which Agaricus?
From
The one
Scotland
that was at
Run.
Scotland Run.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Actually, I did a little bit more research, or maybe it just fell in my lap serendipitously. But I could have been wrong about Floridanus. We sequenced a yellow Agaricus from Scotland Run. I found it in one of my projects from Ohio Mushroom DNA Lab, and we got a different name for that one. So that name was Auricolor, species Indiana or something. If you're referring to that particular Agaricus, I didn't
Yeah,
take
because
pictures.
I was in Shark River this week and I saw a whole bunch of Agaricus that looked real similar.
Do you have pictures of the Scotland Run collection?
No.
Well, neither do I. I remember they were quite tall. The stems were long and slender,
Yeah, with like a bulb at the bottom.
with a bulb at the bottom. Yeah. Um, so the Agaricus, and they had yellow caps with darker, I think, fibrils or something like that.
Yeah, darker, and they kind of like what is that? As it like they're very like almost into like rings as they go out. Like the spots were like very uh like
Concentrically
evenly.
arranged.
Yeah. Yeah, which is the exact same way I saw them elsewhere.
Well, if anybody wants to bring out an MO observation from Skull and Run that was sequenced from 2022, we can compare. The observation number is 507343. So that's from 3 years ago.
507.
507343. So that had a scaly cap,
Okay.
and it didn't have a bulb, but it was more stocky. It was still young.
So this is the observation
Uh,
3 years
Yep.
ago.
yep.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that-
So that's it still has a yellow cap, but it doesn't have the darker fibrils that I.
Yeah. Yeah, that one is like a way different, chunkier.
yeah, it's not bulbous, right? Because this
It's
is
not
just
bulbous.
fat.
No, it has a
Just fat.
completely equal stipe. Yes.
Yeah. Oh well, maybe I'll have to just get over to Shark River and grab one of them ones I saw.
Yeah, I mean, you probably at least should take photographs. So if that so maybe we're dealing with Agaricus floridanus, because that one definitely has darker fibrils on the cap. And if you're logged in into MO, you can type that in and see if we have a visual match. Just click on the magnifying, and type in Agaricus floridanus.
Sorry, not typing so well here.
And if you
Sure.
keep scrolling, there's going to be one collection that was sequenced by me from
Here's one that's very, very
Working
yellow.
Yeah, and they do have a bulb, I think.
Oh no, I'm getting it backwards. Must be the Ururico, so that's not even Floridanus. Tennessee.
Yeah,
There's
that one
two.
on
This
the
one?
417. No, the one on the left in the row below.
This one?
Yeah, this one. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, those ones are very smooth.
Yeah, they don't have much of a bulb either.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Well, I was getting into your chart and I'll have to flip through that Kerrigan book again.
yeah, well, so maybe we don't have a match. Unfortunately, I think I wanted to save that collection and I forgot about it.
Are these two species mentioned, Floridans and what is it, Aurico? Are they in the same subgenus or section?
Floridanus and Auricolor. Well, I don't think they are in our key in the newsletter. The document that Sue and I were working on. I don't think they're mentioned there.
Yeah, I just wondered if if you're going to flip through Kerrigan's book, you might save yourself a few weeks if you know what genus or section to look in beforehand.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Well, at least the pictures are pretty.
Did anyone at least photograph those two Agaricus that's going to run? Sue, did you take any pictures?
No, you guys were all interested, so I stayed away from that one.
Well, did anybody smell it?
Yeah, it had a very pleasant licorice sweet smell.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Chris.
I'm out of ideas. I'm sorry. I mean, this one is definitely Floridanus because it was sequenced, and Kerrigan, I think, commented on it. So, or at least his vouchers were in GenBank, so that's unambiguous. And so is the auricolor, interpreted by Steve Russell.
That auricolor is really cool.
Well, I thought it was Floridanus, but DNA came different.
Doug, do you want to go next? I guess he's not here yet.
Sometimes he has a delay.
Yeah, he's still here. Muted,
Okay.
muted as I can see.
Well, he could be eating dinner like Xiang. Does anybody else want to go? Do you want to go, Brandon? Are you ready?
Yeah, I can go. Was I next?
Well, you mean if I go by the sequence? Well, Hunter's next, I guess, if we're sharing pictures. I can do Hunter next. Is that okay, Hunter?
Sure.
You only have a couple.
No, I got 5. I have 5.
Okay, in the pictures. Okay. All
Yeah.
right, the first one.
Sure. Okay, so I found a couple really nice Lactarius in northern Wisconsin last week. I believe this is Lactarius subpurpeus. It had these pink gills. I mean, mauve is sort of the color I think it is. The latex was red. It was not. There was not a lot of it. I think the specimen was a little bit old. The cap looked more pink in real life. It's slightly scrobiculate on the stipe. There's the potholes appearance, not a lot, but a little bit. And I was pretty excited to find this. It's really beautiful. So
We have this in New Jersey?
Yep.
oh,
Yeah, we do have it. Yeah, we do have it mostly either in the Pine Barrens or at Stokes. That's where we found this.
Do you find this in the Pine Barrens? That would surprise me because this is usually a hemlock associate in my experience.
and
well,
that's
in my
what
experience too. But I mean, those maybe were kind of earlier IDs from years ago, and we didn't know well how to distinguish between this one and similar species.
Yeah, I was going to say I've never seen a Lactarius. You said it had red milk, right?
It did, yeah, yep.
Yeah, it's got like wine red gill, like burgundy red.
Yeah.
The best way to see the latex is slice part of it and press your finger on the cut context, and then look at your finger and you'll see it. But you can see it here. See where the stipe was broken.
Yeah,
The ring of burgundy red. That's it.
yeah.
That's the latex.
So can you blow that up, please?
This species is edible. It's not too bad. It's not incredible, but it's pretty easy to identify, which makes it nice.
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead, Hunter.
Oh, sorry. I think it was a little bit dried out, or old or something.
This one looks pretty good. This one looks like it's in pretty good shape. I think maybe they always look like they're a little old because they look like they're faded, but that's just the way they look.
Oh, okay.
This one looks prime,
A
actually.
lot of milk, though. I mean, it's pretty.
No, never a lot of milk.
Yeah. Okay.
If you even see anything ooze out of the cut on one of these, that's a lot of milk.
Yeah. Okay.
Generally, you have to press your finger on the cut flesh just to see a little tiny bit. I think this is probably in Lactarius section deliciosi.
Oh.
And they're all like that. All of them are like that. They don't have much milk.
Cool. cool, cool. Yeah, cool, good.
Well, I have a collection from the Franklin Parker Preserve that I'm posting right now in the chat that I
Oh,
call
cool. That'll be interesting to see.
yeah, so you can click on that and see if my ID is even remotely correct.
Oh, it looks similar. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't see it. Oh, it's in the chat. I'm sorry, it's in the chat.
Yeah, it's in the chat. Somebody has to, who's hosting, somebody has to click on that link and
Yeah. Let me
Yeah, I mean,
let
it's
me copy and
similar,
paste it.
different. Too bad I don't have spores like you did.
hey, don't ask me why I can't find the chat.
I'm looking at it right now.
well, it should be there.
Yeah, it's
Can't-
there. You can open it and
Yeah, I'm trying to find the chat within Zoom is my problem.
It's,
So I
it's
can't.
on the
I don't
bottom
think you,
in the
I don't think you
same.
can. I don't think you can do that while you're sharing. You're sharing, right?
Thank
Sue?
you, Brandon.
it's a MO link. Yeah. Yeah, the
Yeah,
cat doesn't
it's in the
have
nav bar.
zonations like, well, yeah, it does, but they're not as pronounced. Yeah, I think it's pretty similar.
I'm looking. I don't think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think Igor. I don't think yours is subpurpeus. The the cap surface should be more like sort of faintly zonate and with like little blotches. Yeah, I don't know
Well,
what that is. but I don't-
it is zonate. It's just bleached out, and there was a flash, so that sort of
Oh, it was a flash. I'm sorry.
yeah. I
Okay,
think the
well,
flash is on.
all right. Okay, it still looks kind of wrong in some ways, but maybe the flash is the reason why.
Well,
Can
can
you
we
show
bring it
that?
up?
Let me look at it
Yeah,
again.
I'm getting it.
It
Getting it there.
definitely has a different look, but the options are limited as to what else it could be.
Well, the other option is Paradoxus, but this one I think had the vinaceous, burgundy milk.
Yeah, you could see it too on yours. Yeah.
If it has that burgundy colored latex, that's pretty much the only one I know that has that. I guess Paradoxus and Chelidonium have latex that's not a lot different, but it's not vivid. The ones on those, the latex is not vivid. It's just kind of dull and dingy.
Yeah, I think Beck commented on the color as the grasshopper spit.
The grasshopper spit, right? Which one is that? Chelidonium?
Chelidonium, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I discussed the spore measurements there, and 7 to 8. There were a few larger ones, and they sort of contradict the reported length of 8 to 11 in
Yeah.
Phillips. But who knows, what kind of species, those guys were looking at anyway.
Quo says 8 to 12 by 6.5 to 9.
That's pretty
Yeah,
big for Lactarius spores.
Yeah, mine were shorter. There were 7 to 8 mostly, with some maybe 8.5. Yeah, 8 to 12. Quo says, yeah. Oh well, maybe it's something else.
The spores look similar. It's pretty similar.
Well, they kind of all look the same anyway for all these things.
Yeah, well, maybe, and who knows? Maybe it's something. Yeah, something else. It's pretty. They both are.
I'm looking again at Igor's. The stock doesn't look right. I think yours is something else, Igor.
Yeah, but I don't think it's Chelidonium or Paradoxus. I know
No, I don't
Paradoxus.
think so. I don't think it's either one of those. But it had reddish latex. That's interesting.
Yeah, regrettably, I didn't save this, but that's 2014. I did not even think about sequencing mushrooms at the time.
Right. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I wanted to chime in on, I find mushrooms. I'm not good at Lactarius, but these, zonate Lactarius things, if any of them gave a hint of red latex, that would be unique. I've never seen that in the Pine Barrens. So yeah, it might not be the same thing we were just discussing, but it might be a weird Pine Barrens red latex type thing or closely related.
Yeah, the
Red
latex
latex
color
I've
is
seen is
very interesting.
hedgehogs with red latex.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. What was that about something with red latex?
Yeah, the only thing that I found with red latex and definitely Pine Barrens is hedgehogs, hedgehog mushroom.
But hedgehogs don't have latex though.
Hidden elm, probably.
Oh,
Sorry.
hidden elm. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is not that.
Yeah, and I meant within, Lactarius. There are other things. Yeah, hidden elm in particular, but I meant the milky caps that
Yeah,
froze.
hidden elm peckii has like red droplets, which is not called latex.
Yeah, my only two other collections of subpurpeus come from Tobyhanna and Stokes. And the one at Stokes was supposed to be sequenced, but it failed. So it's going to be rerun. So that was with Ohio. So that was recent. So hopefully we're going to get a sequence out of that eventually. But that was a 2023 collection from August of 2023. Yeah. And that one is definitely subpurpeus because it looks exactly like it's supposed to.
Cool. And wherever's that one from? I missed it.
Oh, it's Stokes State Forest at Kittle Field. The MO observation is 528,902.
Igor, is there any chance you may have misinterpreted the latex color as red, even though it was orange?
No, it was definitely not orange. No.
Okay.
You
It
can
had
kind of
the,
see it on the gills.
it had the color of beet juice. Okay. Some beets like borscht. Yeah,
like
that
another
purplish burgundy color.
like
These
a hematopsis color. Is that
Exactly. Yeah.
these shots look much more like it. That's that first one that just looks kind of weird. Yeah, that
Yeah.
looks.
Oh, what? Oh, this is Igor's here we're looking at.
This is the
Yes.
Stokes collection from two.
Oh, yeah,
2
this is
years ago.
subpurpeus. Yeah,
Yes.
this I can say just by looking.
Yeah, it's very similar.
Subpurpeus.
Yeah, they're the same. Yeah, but that other one is a little weird.
It looks quite a bit different, actually. Interesting. It's interesting. Yeah, it's too bad you didn't save that. But
Yeah, but there
way
are
back
GPS
then.
coordinates of that collection, so we can always go back and look at that area and see what we
Oh.
find.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't saving. The only thing I was saving back then were a few amanitas.
Yeah, but this one hopefully we'll get a sequence for.
Oh, this one here is subpurpeus.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah. Yes. I mean the habitat matches too. It's hemlock woods.
Yeah, there were
Northern
that species was found at both Nama and Nymph recently.
Yeah, I saw your posts. Yeah. Here's
Mhm.
Byron.
Mhm.
Go on to the
Here's Byron. All right,
That's
sorry.
cute. Okay, so this is another cool Lactarius I found, and I'm disappointed because in the fields the color was more pink than orange, and the camera just made it more orange. But it is, I'm pretty certain, Lactarius torminosus, the bearded milkcap. I believe this is toxic. At least it says that in, I think the Peterson guide, is where I saw that. But I imagine that's still the case. That hasn't changed, but I didn't have a chance to look anywhere else. And there was quite a few of these, and it was in a hemlock area and a sort of low area next to a bog, and really nice. Latex wise, I don't think there was anything like me at all. I can't remember now.
That's
Alright,
another
does
one I
this-
have never seen.
Yeah, does this one exist in New Jersey? Because
That thing's off.
Probably not common in southern New Jersey because I think this is mainly a birch associate. Was there birch there, Hunter?
There might have been. It was mostly hemlocks. There could have been a birch or two.
Yeah, birch mixes in with hemlock quite a bit. At least it does, in my area.
Yeah, I think if we were to see this in New Jersey, it would be like at Stokes or Wawayanda. It would not be
Yeah.
in South Jersey at all.
Yeah, I mean, it looks right to me. There might be one or two other things that look somewhat like this, but it looks right to me. And by the way, if you found this in during one of these dry weather periods, then chances are there wasn't much latex, even if there's supposed to be.
Yeah, no, it was pretty wet where I was. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Let me look. I've got it queued up on Michael Quebec. Let me see what they say about the latex.
Okay, cool. It's funny, I'm not even seeing it listed on Mushroom Expert, which is weird.
Yeah, Michael Quebec says latex copious, and I kind of suspected that. So there should have been a lot of latex if you just slice the gill a little bit.
White?
That's copious.
No, what color?
Oh, that's white. This is
Yeah,
a white.
white,
Let's see if
yeah.
it says it. I should have checked to see if it stains. Let's see. Copious white, unchanging. Staining the blades, the gills yellowish when drying with a very acrid flavor. So yeah, this is one of the hot ones, I guess.
Mm.
I there's a spot where I find this at Hickory Run State Park, but I haven't been there very often this summer. It's a spot with hemlock, birch, and pine, and maybe some beech. Let's see what Michael Quebec says about the habitat. Mycorrhizal on the ground under birch trees. So it is indeed a birch associate.
Okay. I've never seen it before, and these particular woods I've visited quite a. I mean, not a lot because it's in Wisconsin, but I more like maybe one hand's worth.
Can we see the cap surface again? Because there's another thing that gets. There's a thing. I think it's Lactarius speciosus, but boy, this is really hairy. I don't think
Yeah.
speciosus is hairy like this. Let me check that one. And that speciosus, I think, is strongly zonate. Yeah, it does. It's not totally hairy like this. It's just got like a little bit on the margin. That's about it. Actually, quite a bit on. Oh, actually, I'm seeing some photos here. Michael Quebec, but I don't think you've got speciosus. This looks more like what you said. What is it? Torminosus?
Yeah, torminosus.
Yeah, because speciosus is really strongly zonate, and usually not quite as coarsely hairy as your thing here.
Yeah, this was crazy. Yeah, it was really something. It was really something. But like I said, it was more pink than orange, and I wish that color could come out. I tried to play with the adjustments, after to try to bring it to the pink that it was when I found it, but I couldn't.
So I'm sorry. What did you say about the color? It was more pink than orange.
Yeah, or just a
Yeah, that's probably torminosus.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was a really fun find. I was pretty excited. Yeah. Well, yeah, and yeah, okay. And so this is Hygrocybe conica, and you can tell because it stains black, all parts of it, and you can see that black staining. But I really love to see this mushroom. It's beautiful in all its different stages, and when it starts staining, it's really very cool. And so that's that.
What I'm sorry, what species name did you use for this? Because it's
Conic,
gone conica.
yeah,
Conica.
which is hat.
Yeah, I think they used to call these singeri.
Oh
There might
yeah.
be more than one species. They stain black. Yeah, these probably maybe a decent thing to have sequenced because there might be more than one of these. Conica, okay, yeah. Yeah, they're
I was
pretty cool though, I agree. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I love them. They're so neat. And then this is Cortinarius caperatus. I forget the new common name, but I'm pretty positive this is it. And I only say that because I see it every year when I'm in the same area. And so I feel pretty confident about it, but then of course I could be wrong.
Well, it looks pretty much right to me. Maybe there's a little bit of reflection on the cap surface here, making it look a little lighter than it would have been. But
Well,
so these have a bloom.
Isn't that the telltale bloom that you were just going to go into? Probably, right?
Oh, on the cap. I personally was not going to go into the telltale bloom, but I would love to hear someone else.
What is the species name one more time?
Caperatus. It's
Okay.
Cortinarius caperatus.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it used to be Rositas caperatus or caperata. I forget. It used to be in its own little genus, but it's been moved to Cortinarius maybe about 15 years ago.
Interesting.
But
So the bloom is
bloom,
where would we see this bloom that you were mentioning?
yeah, so it's the dusting on the top, and Dave was
Oh,
going
that's a
to
bloom?
say,
Okay.
it's a little bit reflected, and I think it's because of that bloom, which is white, and white is, tough to, is very reflective, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
we call it the Kleenex bloom. Yeah.
That's what it looks like. Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
In close up, yeah, that looks like just the bloom.
It just
Kleenex
wears up
bloom,
eventually. It's only present in young fruiting bodies, and then it's lost.
Yeah, it's. I think everyone would agree. If Cortinarius caperatus is an edible and a good edible mushroom, but it's not for the faint of heart, or it's not a beginner one.
Yeah,
Well-
I've eaten these. They're wonderful when you fry them in butter or something. Yeah. Or you
Yeah,
boil.
they're really good. There's a lot to them. Also, you can get really big ones, and even after they're really big, they're still firm.
I have to do it because I do feel pretty confident. I mean, I feel confident about it. And I see it at the same time every year in the same area. And I think it's time, probably. So, okay. Well, thanks. Thanks for letting me share it. Oh, I got
One
one more.
more.
Yeah, so Tricholoma. And I am forgetting which species. I thought this was Tricholoma. Oh gosh. I had it and then I don't anymore.
Subsejunctum.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah. Or so subsejunctum, not subjunctum, right?
Well, this species has been promoted and demoted a few times, from subsejunctum to sejunctum, back to subsejunctum, and I'm just saying subsejunctum because that's one of the two names it's gone by, and I'm not sure what the status is on this now. There's a few other possibilities though. There's oh, what's that one that's I forget. Well, there's Davisii, but that one has a really sharp umbo, I believe. And this has a rounded umbo. And there's Subluteum, I think.
Oh, yeah.
That one has yellow gills. That one has more yellow on the gills. So it looks good to me.
Okay, good. Good, good. Yeah, that subluteum is similar though, yeah. Okay, thanks. Thank you so much. I think that's it for me.
Yeah,
Thank you,
not edible. In case anybody's
Yes.
wondering.
Good to know.
Okay, Doug, are you around now? Okay, I guess we're skipping Doug. Brings us up to you, Brandon. You going to share your screen? Or did you?
No, I sent in
Okay,
observation.
yeah, okay.
I'm sorry, Sue. It's Doug. I was having
Oh, okay, we'll go back to you.
sorry trying to
Sorry,
help
Brandon.
the work. It's an old iPhone, and sometimes I'll click on stuff and it just won't come up. Um, let's see. About 5, 6 days ago, we had a little overnight rain. It's been real dry down here near Philly, and I went out the next morning in a local park, and I saw these two. Sue, do you have the first one there?
Oh,
They,
I am sharing.
yeah, I saw this.
Reticular Lycoperdon, the
Yeah,
false puffball.
yes. It's just on an old log. Most of these, it's a kind of ridge chestnut oak forest. Um, I hadn't really seen it in that area, and there's only one. It's kind of decorticated wood, but this is the athelium after the plasmodium aggregates, and I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Braffeldi I've seen, and it's more diffuse. It spreads out more in these lumps. This is a real looks like a marshmallow with bumps all over it. And it's quite distinctive. There was only one. I kind of looked it up a little bit, and it's also called enteridium. I couldn't really understand the nomenclature, why it has two names. And it's an acellular slime mold. And
Oh,
apparently they consider them a delicacy, and they collect the young ones in Veracruz, Mexico, and they eat them. Doesn't seem appetizing to me eating slime molds, but that's what I read. And has anyone seen those?
yes, in the springtime. So I'm kind of, it's interesting to see this now. Cool.
Yeah, they're very distinctive looking. It was about the size of a small golf ball, I guess. A little smaller than a golf ball.
Yeah, yours is really a perfect sphere there.
And apparently when
Attached
they,
by a thread, or how are they attached to the media substrate?
I didn't probe it that much. There's no, it's just sort of it just sort of attaches, there's no big structure underneath. It's just sort of sticking there.
Did you touch it?
I don't recall. I don't remember. I probably did. It wasn't slimy or anything. Um, apparently, as it gets older, that I don't know what you call the so-called skin of it. The surface turns brown, and then it will release its spores. But that's all I know about it, and I just thought it was kind of cool. And
Oh, cool.
and the second one, Sue, let me try to remember that. This was on an adjacent log, and I'm having trouble seeing it. I have a split screen here. Is everyone seeing that?
Yeah.
That's a side view. Can we see that frontal view? You seem to have two overlapping there.
Right? Some large.
Oh, so is there consensus on this? Because I was just drifting. Yeah,
It's
that's
not
what this is. Yeah,
wait, Camarops?
I think so. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
This is
An
sectioned,
old
right?
one.
No, that's the top of the nose, I imagine.
Yeah, it should be sticky, right?
Oh, is that an in situ photo? I thought it was a sectioned thing.
Yeah, that's the other photo is this is it looks like it's sectioned, but that's what that looks like.
Yeah.
It's like a
Okay.
dog's nose, and it's kind of sticky usually.
Mm-hmm.
It looks really old, maybe.
Well, with dry weather, it's probably dried out.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you guys are right. If that's hard and not soft, that's Camarops.
I think that's the two from you, Doug. And now on to Brandon.
Dave, do you want to go? Didn't you send some stuff?
No, I just didn't get my stuff together soon enough. But most of my observations were from NEM and NEM for the last 2 weeks, and it's mostly just small stuff in swamps. There was
Well, yeah,
I found some Boletus edulis, but I'm sure I think you probably have better stuff to look at. So just go.
honestly, we have stuff from the NJMA 4A at least.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Let's see what it is. I mean,
Well,
if
the
there's
first,
time and people still want to look at things, I can probably send a few.
the first two,
send an email with some things.
the first two I have are Cortinarius, so they're at least interesting Cortinarius, but I probably have the name wrong on this one, alboviolaceus. If you want to click on the photo, you can make out the velar material at the base as well as the cortina at the top. But look at that white ring on the bulbous foot.
But okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Is that mentioned as a trait?
Yeah, it is. But the explanation on Myco Quebec is there's 4 things that are all kind of similar.
Yeah, so what did you say it was? Venecio? How do you say that?
White purple. I forget if
Albo,
it's albo. Yeah.
alboviolaceus. Yeah, that one usually has an overall wider stalk, and it's I don't know. Maybe the photo doesn't come through, but you'll see more purple.
Well, I have more photos, and that was a small one.
Uh-huh.
It had a good stature to it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The big one there is about 10 centimeters tall.
Uh-huh.
So it is a big one. But yeah, I mean, it could be one of the other. The cap had hints of purple, but it was white, and I mean, kind of stark white. Same with the stipe.
So was it silvery? Did it have like a silvery sheen?
Sheen is a good way to put that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, alboviolaceus has a silvery sheen.
Well, we saved this. I have the bigger fruiting body.
Yeah, you may as well save all these quartz. The chances are they're all, a lot of them are going to be, either not matching anything in Gen Bank, or
not matching anything, or one of these ones that no one ever uses the name for, or
or matching like 5 different things.
Yeah, or it's like a species group, and yeah. Unfortunately, like for Tricholomas.
Or maybe it's the actual alboviolaceus, and we learned that
Might
about it
be.
too.
If it is, I would think that being a fairly commonly used name over the years, there might actually be some reliable genetic data for it.
Well, we have a that treatise from Michael Quebec, which is a couple of years old, maybe 3 years old, and somebody should look in there and see what they have for alboviolaceus and how many other species in that clade or complex they have.
Yeah.
So that would be the first place to look at.
I think they used to call these things subgenus Hygrocybe or something like that. The ones that are dry and have a sheen, and most of them, they're mostly big, robust.
I tucked back into that paper for about 15 minutes, and I was like, "Yeah, I remember why I tapped out." It's a lot of good information, but it's tough to get through. But yeah, the only one on Myco Quebec that mentions that I don't know, some of these quartz have two veils, right? That's the thing that's always reported, and that membranous material on the base there. That's the only one that mentions that. So
yeah, there's actually one species. It's not alboviolaceus. I forget which one it is. I think it's one of these Sirios, whoever you say it.
Yeah.
One of those great big things, that's purplish, whitish, silvery, that actually has almost like a vulva. In fact, it might be Cortinarius vulvatus or something like that.
Cool.
There's so much of that material on the bottom of the stalk that it looks like a vulva. But I'm not claiming to know these very well. I usually just call them Cortinarius. I used to put them on MO as Cortinarius. I forget if it was subgenus or section Hygrocybe, I think it was.
Cool. Yeah, I'll look into that. I mean, maybe I did actually, I have spore measurements and photographs. I didn't upload them yet, just in case they're helpful, but who knows if they are.
They might be helpful because there's the spores in what used to be genus Cortinarius. I'm not sure if this still is going to hold up with the genus now being split.
Yeah.
But there's a wide range of dimensions, and some of them are sometimes the spores are barely ornamented. Sometimes they have pretty noticeable warts on them. So you get a little bit of mileage out of spore morphology sometimes.
And then the only other thing, since we have some names here that might not know why we're just assuming this is Cortinarius, if you could go to the shot of the gills that I think shows the Cortina and maybe zoom in on that. That rusty orange.
It's definitely something in the Cortinariaceae, and it's probably Cortinarius is my guess. But I don't know. I don't know if they changed these big ones.
I think they did. When I say Cortinarius at this point, I think I do have to, kind of downgrade that to Cortinariaceae.
Yeah, it's definitely that. This is definitely one of those.
But that wispy veil, that's how you have something.
Well, some of the Hebelomas might have that, and Anosibes also. Anosibes don't get this big though. I mean, there's one, there's a couple of 2-3 Anosibe or Anosibaceae species that they get, it might be like 2 or 3 inches wide, and that would be a really, really big one. But they're not real robust like this thing.
And
it's
also,
a quart. This is a quart.
Yeah, and on the flip side of that, to kind of discredit what I just said, not all quartz have that wispy thing. Some of them have a more membranous veil. But
Caperatus has a membranous veil, and I think that might be the only one. Subocratia has a veil that is sort of like hybrid between a cortina and a membrane. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's Anosibe. Duh. No, sorry, that's Anosibe. I think all the courts basically have Cortinas except for caperatus. That's why I think that's why they put it in its own genus actually for a long time.
Well, I looked in that Michael Quebec Bible for Cortinarius, and this is subgenus Thalamonia, section Fermioris. That's where it clades.
Yeah, that's new. That's new. So that
Yeah.
this Seriocybe or whatever it was thing that probably didn't hold up to genetic criteria.
Yeah, so I don't know if Thalamonia became a separate genus or if it's still within the new Cortinarius. Probably still within Cortinarius. Because remember, Cortinarius got broken up into
Right,
10 different things.
right, and telemonia used to be what telemonia used to mean was the ones that are hygrophanous, I believe, but that might have a new meaning. That word might mean something new now.
Yeah, well, anyway, the sequence that they have here, the voucher, it's a single one, and who knows if they have the correct species concept for it, because you have to go to the type collection, of course. So other names here include Livacinus that I recognize, and everything else here is pretty much I've never heard of those names before.
Is anomalous there?
No.
No,
Let
so
me
that's funny.
let me scroll down. Oh, they have a now they have a neotype. I looked at the different tree that's more sort of detailed for section Fermioris, and they have a neotype sequence and a neotype voucher. So if I recall correctly, a neotype is different from epitype when you have to when there's no actually holotype. So you have to create a neotype. So there's no such a thing as a neotype of alboviolaceus. I mean, type collection holotype. So epitype is created when when holotype is present but not interpretable, and neotype is created when no holotype is in existence, if I recall correctly. So you can look into that paper and look at the sequences that match the neotype sequence in GenBank, and so I think if we sequence the chances are that we're going to get a good name. That's the bottom line.
Mine's in a bag already dried and labeled.
So is mine.
Cool.
I haven't posted it on MO, but you have the observation obviously, so I can interlink them once I create my own on MO.
All right, let's go to the next Cortinarius that, I put a name to
That
that
was even
one.
more interesting than the first one.
Yeah, a little more interesting. This wasn't collected by me, different member, but everyone that saw it at the table was like, look at that thing. The photos of the gills kind of don't do it justice. They were olivaceous, kind of with a purplish hint.
With the purplish hint when you put them in the sunlight, but in the
Mhm.
shade they look exactly like that. Maybe a little bit more green than gray.
Yeah, a little more
But they
green.
were definitely green to me, and I think I put one of those fruit bodies, but probably this one because that one still had the gills hidden in the sunlight, and then when I saw the purple colors coming out.
Yep.
But without the sun, they just looked olive green. So I saved the small fruiting body. I'm not sure if Brandon saved the bigger one.
I think make switch that. I think I took the smaller one. No,
No,
no, I
no, no.
took the bigger
I
one.
took the
Yep,
small
yep,
one.
yep, yep. You did. I did,
So,
and that
so
one's also saved.
you said that the gills were green.
The gills were, yeah, they were green.
Yeah. So there's this thing, Cortinarius scarus, that has green gills. I think it's mostly a boreal thing, like it's found up in the Adirondacks. Yeah, I think somebody may have found it at Nymph, but I'm not sure if that was validated by anybody.
Same,
Somebody on one
same
of the forays
bulbous,
I was on had a court with green gills, and so scarus seemed like a possibility at least.
same bulbous stature with the really heavy, dense mushroom.
Yeah, big. Yeah, really, really bulbous stipe base, and so the cap color should be kind of brown, kind of dark. What was it on this thing?
No, this
Oh,
was
it looks
light.
like it's kind of light. Okay, so here's
It's
another thing to check. Varius. I think the name is Varius.
it was this elevaceous color, kind of a steely gray olive,
Yeah.
flushes, with the lighter colors, kind of whitish, shiny, and completely
Also,
Yeah.
dry.
So
Yep.
I think Scarus has sort of a darker cap. Oops.
I'm pretty sure this one's going to have a new sequence.
Anything remarkable about the spores, Brandon?
Yeah, sorry. They are, kind of subglobose, um, broadly ellipsoid with a big apiculus. Pretty sure that's four of them coming off of one basidium, but it's not a great enough photo to illustrate that. And they have a flat side as well. Pretty small. I probably have dimensions. If I uploaded the photos, I probably have dimensions in the notes.
Were they ornamented? Were they verrucose?
Yeah, so they were warded. I wouldn't, I mean, big warts is what I saw, but not many of them. But
See
like
any nymphs?
for the size of the spores, yeah, less than 9 uh, microns long. The warts were large, and that less than 9 microns includes the apiculus, which I'm never sure if I should measure, but that apiculus was, I mean, it was short of 1 micron, but it was, bigger than a half a micron. It was prominent.
Yeah. Do you remember who collected this? Because in my memory, I have a discussion with someone who found some mushrooms near the boat launch
Yeah.
by the
Yep.
lake.
Doug.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the one.
Yep. That's where this was collected. And that conversation is who collected them. Yep.
Okay, yeah, Yadavia, and that section, I think, from what I could see, where we parked, it was all oaks. It was all deciduous. Maybe there might have been a conifer or two in there, but I haven't taken a
Yep.
closer look.
Yeah. When I was over there, actually, it was just past the porta potty. I took note of everything over there, and it was mostly oaks, with, well, I should just say hardwoods. The only conifer was like way closer to the water, so I think it was probably a hardwood associate,
Yeah,
most
sounds
likely
like it.
oak. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that it's showing up sort of fairly early in the season probably says the same thing, that it's a early fall species and it fruits when the oaks are about to shut down.
Do you recall an odor? Or did you note an odor on this one? I remember it didn't smell bad. I
It
think it
didn't smell
smelled.
bad, but I couldn't describe it. It was maybe a little bit sweetish, but
Yeah, just pleasant, kind of pleasant is, I think, what I said. Indistinct, pleasant.
yeah, but it didn't smell terrible, I think. But I can't really recall either way exactly, so I'm not gonna say much. I know like what the other quartz smell like, not the one that you showed, but the one that nobody has shown yet. You know, the small one with a
Right.
ochre cap and pellets type. You know, that had
Yeah.
a very distinct smell.
I
Like
might
I
be
thought it-
showing that later.
seasoned fried chicken or something. I don't know.
But yeah, that was a cool one. And I mean, I look at a lot of Cortinarius that stump me that all kind of look the same. That one doesn't look the same, but it still stumps me nonetheless, right?
Yeah, I think this one is remarkable. I mean, I don't think I've seen anything like that with green, grayish green pores that are more purple when you put them under sunlight. So
There's a lot of material stuck to it. Was it sticky in any way?
no,
No,
it was dry.
it's this sandy material because it was also found, Doug noted, kind of just off of the road there with a bunch of those stones in with the loose sand.
Ah,
Um,
that's a good question though, because with all the stuff stuck to the, it may have been slimy when it was young.
could have been. Yep.
Could have been, yeah, but it was all dry certainly when we handled it. You know,
Right. Right. Well, I know like species of Phlegmacium, which is a split off from Cortinarius. It's got a slimy cap. Those dry out and they just look shiny then, but they look very shiny because when the slime dries, it gets shiny. This doesn't really look like that.
Mm,
And I will note, this thing was, I mean, they were prime. You know what I mean? They were really fresh material. So even though that slime couldn't bake off probably pretty quickly, um, I don't know. I wouldn't tag these as a prime slimy candidate. Could
yeah, I don't
totally
think they
be.
were slimy because slime usually lasts a while, and even under dry conditions.
Is there
So,
anything to be gained by cutting these in half? Is
well,
anything?
I did cut them in half, and they were sort of marbled inside, kind of whitish, grayish, whatever. And the gills of the small one were just like a very narrow.
Uh, well, the gills of the more mature one that I took home, the flesh was, probably 10 times the the width of the gills. The gills were very, they were maybe a millimeter or two, and then
Exactly.
the cap flesh was, almost a centimeter.
Yeah. So even the older one still has the same profile that the gill layer is just the gill blades are very narrow. Um, so I'm glad you saved it because there's going to be more gill material to fish out from that fruiting body than from mine because the gill layer
Well,
there was like under a millimeter. It was like super thin.
interesting. Yeah. I mean, I meant to go back in and note that, and I will, just so that we have that record in the notes for this one. Um, the other problem with this, then, at all stages of drying it, was just debris. Trying to do micro on this thing, I broke 2 slides, because a piece of sand got in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a bunch of debris in these things when we end up drying them.
To the small again.
Brandon,
Yeah.
before you go on, what do you mean by you broke the slide because of the sand?
Sand it was probably something other than sand. Normally with my glass slides, I can actually crush sand pretty easily. But when a couple, literally 1, 2, 3 pieces of sand line up next to each other, and I go to smash mount a thing, it will break the slide.
Yeah, I think you mean break the slip.
Slip. Yeah, sorry. Cover slip.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. not
Sometimes
the
when I'm crushing them, I
slide
like
people.
to use another hard surface, like a whole nother slide.
Yeah,
It
you've
distributes
mentioned
the
that. I should do
force.
that. I still use, a modified eraser
Hmm.
on the back end of a pencil. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I did mean cover slip, not slide. But this is a Cribaria. We've looked at them many times, but I think this might be my favorite photo that I've ever taken of one. If we want to go ahead and click on that.
Yeah, it looks like it's coming up in front of the moon.
Just got a couple things on the same level, which was kind of lucky. Calicule, I think, is the right term for the kind of sock that it has coming up
This
against
part?
the. Yeah, yep, exactly. I think that's called a calicule. But these Cribaria, they have like a net that holds the spores in, and if you blow the spores out of that net, you can see, what kind of shapes that net actually has. So this isn't cancellata or any of the species where that net goes apex to apex. This has just more that calicule that irradiates out into certain nodes. So it's more erratic than cancellata or anything else. But I've not been able to put a name to these things because I haven't found good descriptions of them. So
I love this picture on this one. So cool.
yeah, this is probably the worst one. We could go back to the last one.
I just like the stance, and the way. Yeah, I mean these are more clearly, but
Well, if you go to the one where the foot is in focus, it looks like, yeah,
What?
it
The
looks like
second one?
yeah,
This
the
one?
second one, yeah, and focus in there. It looks like it's running away. Like it's, that
floating.
yeah, that point of attachment is. It looks like it's something running away, right?
How did you get this photo? That's a really good photo.
Just under with a stereo microscope.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So these are small. They're not like microscopic. They're like 2 millimeters. So, if you play around under a cheap stereoscope, you can get pretty good results. And that photo is really, I like that one a lot.
So when you take a photo through your stereoscope, do you snap it through one of the eyepieces?
Yep.
Oh,
One of
wow.
the two, whichever
Uh-huh.
one focuses better on whichever thing I'm looking at. And that's with before I blew out the spores. And when I say blew out the spores, I literally, took it out on the balcony and blew them out. So that way you can see that netting better.
So you lost me. The spores were on top. They're blown off from the surface.
So they're held within that netting. What is that? A peridium, right? Just an outer casing, but it's porous, and they're held within there. So if you just blow them out, all that you're left with is that,
Okay,
peridium, that netting, that casing.
I
So
see
you
the
can see
difference now. Yeah,
then you can see the details better.
okay.
And that's how you ID these things. You have to blow out the spores.
Wow.
And I know all that about these. I really like them. I look at a lot of them. I have no idea what species this is. So oh, cool.
Going to go
Yeah.
to big things, but we're going still small here.
Well, it dawned on me when I put this name. I handed this, here's a name that I didn't collect. I took some photographs of it, but that's definitely what it is. A couple of people looked at me like, what the heck is that thing? This is super common. Do we all know this? Or is no one?
No,
Okay, so do you have juniper where you're at, Hunter?
occasionally, yeah. Oh, I think I know someone studying this now that I'm seeing it. But no, I've never seen it before.
It is super common, at least here in South Jersey. I mean, I'll be walking around pretty much any stretch of woods in South Jersey, and there's going to be a rogue, call it red cedar. It's a juniper, right? Um, Eastern red cedar, I think whatever it's called. Um, but you'll see these white patches on it, and they're all Dendrothele nivosa.
Cool. Yeah, I think I know someone, the woman who did the Golden Oyster talk, I think one of her colleagues at UW is studying this.
Who, Wisconsin, Wisconsin?
Yep. Sorry, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you know any stand of Eastern red cedar, I suggest you go look for these little white patches. They're kind of ubiquitous, in my opinion. I see at least one or two. I don't think it is like a parasitic thing, but I could be wrong on that because the trees are mostly healthy. But yeah, I don't know. Anyone else see this thing or know of it? Figured I'd share it because we never have looked at it here.
Does it do anything else besides that?
No, not that I'm aware of. It's just this is the extent of it. They get bigger, you know, by a matter of centimeters, two tops.
Probably one of those things I've seen a million times and just never seen it.
Yeah, that's kind of how I came. That's I was like, hey, well, it just started getting into fungi, and I was like, oh, I've seen that a bunch of times. Is that a fungus? Yep, it is.
I'm gonna look for that.
Cool.
Okay.
That's it for
That's all
me.
we have.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Brandon. Okay, Igor. You only have a few. Are you with us? Yes, no, Igor?
That thing's crazy. It's like made of 100% pore surface. Look at it. It's like barely wearing a hat.
It's unusual for him to just give us the whole, was that the family level? I don't remember what the shear is.
Petersii only.
Oh, that's funny. When it's cut open, you see that the pores aren't even that thick. It's just shaped crazy.
Yeah, you would think they would be blown out, right?
Yeah.
Are there any notes?
I would guess yes.
Responding. Master. Okay, yeah, so a little bit of notes here. No bluing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know it was my turn. I was actually stepped away for a few minutes.
Yeah. What you got on this one?
Yeah. So the three boletes that I'm going to talk about all came from the Coma foray in Litchfield, Connecticut. That's western part of the state. Litchfield County as well, which is the largest, I think, in the in Connecticut. And I saved this collection and I posted it because I didn't know what it was. It was not in like particularly great shape, but it was good enough to be photographed and saved. What struck me about this collection was the color of this type, and the photographs just don't quite do justice. It was more, it had a violaceous tinge to it. It wasn't brown like you see here, for instance. I think one of the photographs might show the true color of that stipe. Maybe this one, but it was not brown. Um, the pores were, yeah, yellow. I think they stained maybe brownish, or I'm not quite sure if that's staining. When it was sliced, didn't do anything. There was clearly no bluing in it. I could make out exactly where the pores were xerocomoid or boletoid. I'm gravitating towards xerocomoid just by, if you zoom in. And when you slice it, the stipe tissue, the stipe context, I think stains this sort of pinkish, brown color, sort of the paler version of the stipe, but no violet, no lavender tinges, just the reddish brown. So the overall profile of this bolete resembled to me, something like maybe Imlaria, or closer in the Boletoideae, like Xanthoconium and Imlaria. But I don't think this is Xanthoconium. I think Imlaria is a bigger possibility. So I consulted with both Dave and John Plishke, and they just shrugged their shoulders. They just didn't know what it was. So apparently, nobody recognized this as a species that they've seen even once. I mean, to me, it was certainly new.
So
So I'm gonna,
the pores are the wrong color for xanthoconium.
yeah, that's why I'm saying it's
Mhm.
not Xanthoconium.
But how about xerocomus?
I don't think this is Xerocomus, but who knows? There was no
Xerocomus.
reticulation.
Yeah,
If
well,
it
the
is,
xerocomus, whatever it is that we've been calling subtomatosis, that doesn't have.
yeah, well, no, I don't think this is not a clear-cut Xerocomus. It just didn't have the feel for Xerocomus to me. I mean, it could still be
No,
part of.
not really, not really. But the lack of staining,
Yeah, but
the pore
yeah,
surface going greenish,
yeah. I mean, if you zoom on the cap, color, uh, it was sort
yeah,
of pinkish brown or whatever. It was cracked. It was clearly not in great shape, and there was only one fruiting body. And I do think it came from foray number 2 because I handled another collection from that foray, and they were near the same person. The boats were nearby, so the location doesn't matter. It's all near Litchfield, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, kind of a modest-looking thing, but certainly a head scratcher. I mean, this type is not something you would call a xerocomus in a strict sense. It was not furfuraceous. It was not reticulate. It was not streaky. It was just, I mean, the streakiness is there, but it's the color. There was no longitudinal lines or anything like that. It was just kind of naked and
yeah. This is one of
featureless.
these things that it is hard to propose an ID because of a lack of traits, really.
Yeah, but again, the contact staining in this type sort of to me resembled Imlaria. I had a feel of an Imlaria, but Imlaria blues, at least in the pores. If you're thinking about pallida,
Either
and
one of them, either one of the Umlaria we get, if you scratch the pores, they go like
yeah,
that slate
by the
gray blue kind of.
yeah, we're actually going to add another name to the genus Imlaria. This is something that Smith and Thiers described from Michigan, and we have a collection of it on the Mo sequenced, and it matches the type collection. But the ITS itself doesn't give you an idea that it is an Imlaria, but the morphology does. It's going to be called Imlaria calvinii. Okay, so keep it to yourself. Uh,
Is there any information to be gained from the thin tube layer?
it's not
Similar.
that thin. Well, I mean, if you click on the last two photographs, you'll see how thin or thick it is. Yeah, it is pretty thin relative to the maybe 3-to-1 ratio, 2.5-to-1. By the way,
Especially, go ahead.
the cap was just 2 inches in diameter.
But it's pretty planed out. Like it seems like a mature fruiting body.
It
You know,
is. Yeah. So like I said, in that way, it kind of resembled the Imlaria, sans the bluing gills, or sometimes I think the flesh may also blue in body above the tubes. So I didn't see any of that, but the coloration of the stipe, which became like that, sort of brownish, is kind of consistent, I think, with that genus in
Do
some way.
older boletes of the same type, do they lose their bluing or do they always blue?
I think they on the tubes and the pores they always blue, but in the malaria the pores do become greenish. So that's why I think this is Boletaceae, because of the pores were not yellow; they were more sort of yellowish green toward maturity. So, but yeah, I mean, you cannot exclude xerocomus from consideration, and also recall that Badia used to be in xerocomus before it was transferred into Imlaria. It was called Xerocomus badius.
I think the question might have been like, does it lose its bluing with age of mushroom?
Yeah, I understand that. I don't think it does. As a matter of fact, Imlaria pallida would not stain blue when young. It would only stain when mature. All right, so anyway, I'm going to submit it soon for sequencing, and it better work for that kind of money.
Cool. That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. So we have
Whoa.
another record of this Lanmaoa, and by the way, I would just want to say that all these Lanmaoas gave me a workout both at Coma and at Helen Nickness. We had one hell of a time trying to really distinguish some of these red and yellow bicoloroid fungi from genus Lanmaoa. There was a lot of overlap in morphology. They smelled, this way or that way, sometimes faintly Boolean, sometimes not. Anyway, so this one is, I'm almost certain, 100% that this is carbonilivor, the new species that's going to be described officially soon. The smell was there. The pinkish caps that were fading to brown on the margin were there. The intense bluing of the flesh was there, and the pallid yellow stipe flushed with very, very pale pink streaks was also there. So, and you can see the staining of the pores, which is blue, and that color doesn't fade to brown. Did not fade to brown, although I didn't capture it in the
There we
photographs.
go. Fine.
So yeah, if you zoom in,
Yes, the responsiveness is pretty slow in MO tonight.
yeah, MO actually slowed down, and to load up pages takes like 10 seconds sometimes. You
What a
can click on
cool
the original image.
what a cool observation though. That staining on the section looked kind of green.
Well, that's
Is
because of the yellow flesh, probably,
okay. Yeah.
but it was bluing intensely, but not as intensely as you would expect for sensibilior, which is miniatopalescens, the future miniatopalescens. So I didn't save this collection because I was pretty sure of the idea, and I have plenty of these already from New Jersey. So you can see the narrow tubes, 3-to-1 ratio, thickness of the cap to the thickness of the tube layer. So all the elements of the idea there. I think the name is good.
And these ones you said they were variable in odor, right? But did this one or maybe these two have that bouillon odor?
No, this had curry. It smelled curry. I don't think this is Palo de Rosea. And remember,
Oh
Palo de
no,
Rosea will never stain blue like that on the flesh.
yeah, I wasn't
Yeah.
questioning the idea. I was just
So
wondering
I mean,
about the.
sometimes when the odors are faint, I've confused Palo de Rosea with the odor of carbonilivor. Okay, the curry and the beef bouillon, they are a little bit similar in some
Yeah,
ways.
and they can be varying levels of faint to, pretty heavy. So
Exactly.
a faint bouillon, a faint curry can smell very similar, I think, right? Yeah.
Correct. Yes. But when the scent is very strong, then there's no ambiguity between them, in my experience.
Cool. Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
so the thing that's really interesting to me is about Lanmaoa is I have not seen a single Lanmaoa pseudosensibilis all year long, and that's usually the most common species in that genus, or at least around here.
Right. I only saw 2 collections at NJMA forays, and maybe 3. One came from Horseshoe Bend. The other came from a Shark River. Shihong collected them and she ate them, and she said they were excellent. And I have an MO observation of that one, and it's classic pseudosensibilis. But you're correct, Dave. This was not the year for pseudosensibilis. Very few collections. Even during July, when collecting was very, very good for boletes in New Jersey. Any questions about this new species? It's pretty distinct. All the elements, too much bluing, the colors are pallid, the odor is, the scent is curry. So that, separates it from the rest of Lanmaoa pretty well. I mean, this is just a classic look for this thing.
Why don't you tell us how we got the species name? Does it mean anything?
Yeah, the species name was proposed by Colin Damnauer, but not the livor part. He wanted to call it Carboniceps, I think. So charcoal cap. And I said that that name would be misleading. So carbonilivor means charcoal stain. So the bluing essentially changes color to this kind of a anthracite gray color. And that's why it's called like that.
Okay.
So I sort of edited the name so I conserve the carboni part and introduce the more distinctive noun part for the other half of the word. But again, the epithet itself is a noun in apposition. Okay, so it's 2 nouns. Like Neoboletus chameleon is also the same way.
It's a
It's not an adjective.
familiar
Okay,
conversation.
what's that?
Familiar conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, this is something that Rod Tullis introduced me to, and I like the idea very much. Keeps you away from trying to rake through all these adjectives that are very mundane. Anyway, so this is another collection that features a broadly bicoloroid mushroom. You got the reds in the stipe and the cap. The yellows are there too, and the pores are yellow. This came as a small cluster, well, actually a cluster of 5 mushrooms, but the size was small. There's going to be a picture of this on my hand, and you'll see how small these fruit bodies are.
Don't
So
see
you
it.
just flip for just all these photographs.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, tiny.
Yeah, they're tiny, but you can see like the baby ones are the tiny ones. You can see like pinheads, you know, facing you here exactly. So those are like the nascent fruiting bodies. They're completely like, you know, embryonic in their nature. I've never seen boletes grow like that.
Are you sure
Um,
that's not some other species growing on this one?
no, they're all the same thing. Again, pink caps. And what really struck me is that the stipes are pink in the upper half, but they're yellow on the bottom, which is usually the reverse, which is the reverse of what usually happens. You know, the red color comes in at the base and sort of fades away toward the apex of a mushroom. But here it was flipped. The upper half was more red than the bottom. And the last photograph shows you the cross section. This thing really blew readily and intensely. So I'm split between Lanmaoa and Neoboletus. It doesn't resemble any Lanmaoa species that I know of. You know, the only species that blues crazy like that is Sensibilior, which, as I said, is going to be Miniato pallescens, because that's the original name by Smith and Thiers. But look, you know, at the pore surface, it's yellow and the tubes are razor thin.
I think I saw this. This was at Coma.
Yes, this was at Coma.
Yeah, I think you showed me this. I thought it was Neoboletus chameleon. I'm
I don't
still
think this is
leaning that way.
I don't think this is the chameleon. The cap color is wrong. The stipe colors are wrong. It could be a Neoboletus, but I don't think this is the chameleon. I mean, I mean, you cannot always exclude the possibility, but that's not your typical look of the chameleon, in my understanding.
No, it's not typical.
No.
No, but the strong staining, and the chameleon often has a yellow stalk. The caps are
No, but
but
you know, it's in the pure yellow. You know, the thing is, I didn't see the squamules on the stipe. You know,
okay.
the way the pigment is arranged, you know, it's not typical of any Neoboletus that I've seen. It's really weird. So anyway, I kind of berate myself for not saving this collection. I was busy. I was supposed to go somewhere, and I didn't have the time, and then I just forgot about this thing. And but I spoke to John Plishke, and I twisted his arm, so he sampled it for sequencing, and I just hope he's going to sequence it.
Oh yeah, he would definitely want to sample this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is something we might not know what it is, and that's what he really likes.
Yeah, I basically told him that I'm having difficulty identifying this even to a genus, and his help would be appreciated. And he just, you know, took a piece of that thing, and we'll find out eventually. I'll be on top of it. So again, the growth pattern, the size of it, the colors, it really struck me as something unusual. So we're not in Kansas anymore, so to speak. We're not in New Jersey, and all these boletes look different once you leave, you know, a geographical area, because we all understand that all the mushrooms have a cline. They have a gradient of their morphology, and as you go in either direction, either north or south, or maybe even west, the profile, the morphological profile of any given species is going to change a little bit and throw you off. And this is something you have to keep in mind all the time. So that's all I have to say. I hope you enjoyed these Boletaceae.
Yes, very much.
Is there anyone else who has anything to share, who was joined late, perhaps, even?
No, I just had one more question for Igor. This thing in particular, where was it growing? Is this something that might exist in New Jersey or specifically South Jersey? Probably not, right?
I don't know. Like I said, I tried to look for a cluster of traits that could land me into at least a genus and then a species. But there was so much controversy about this thing. It was a mishmash of characters. Like I said, the colors of this type were flipped that you typically see either in Lanmaoa or Neoboletus. I mean, there's always more red on the bottom of this type, and then the color peters out and a small yellow at the top. Here you see the opposite. Nothing like that grows in clusters of 5, things. And the colors of the cap, they were pink, but then you see they discolor brown.
Could you tell the pore color?
Oh, the pore color is yellow. You can see
It's
that in the
very yellow.
sliced mushroom.
It looks like the inside is orange, though. It's probably a shadow or something like that.
Probably a
right?
shadow. Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, we collected a collection of subvolutipes that had pure yellow pores with no hint of red. And Dave and I post that thing on Mushroom Observer. But otherwise, it looks like a classic subvolutipes.
Yeah, which is not an extremely uncommon thing, especially in a young subvolutipes.
Yeah, it happens sometimes, but it's still, I would say, fairly rare. I mean,
it's not common. Not common.
Yeah. So I probably agree with Dave. This could be a Neoboletus because the only Lanmaoa species that's things like that. It was instant. It was instant and it was heavy. It's sensibilior, and I don't think this is sensibilior because we did find sensibilior at the 4A, and its type is pale yellow with not much red in it, which is very typical of the species. So, but we just have to wait.
Cool.
Very interesting. Yeah, those were probably the most interesting finds from the Boletaceae. Everything else was pretty much routine. At Coma, nothing really struck me as unusual than these things.
Yeah, these are really interesting. Cluster. It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I see sometimes, we have a cluster of 2, rarely, maybe 3 mushrooms growing together, but 5 at least in a tight cluster like this, that's unheard of.
It's neat.
Dave, do you have anything you want to show? You want to show from last week's send-in?
Did you go over those?
No, we didn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can look at that stuff. Actually, there was honestly that I found more interesting stuff at Coma than I found interesting stuff at Nama and Nymph, but yeah, really small stuff and not in the best condition. And actually, the most interesting thing I found at Nymph, I also found at Coma. So, oh wait, or no, I'm sorry, Nama. These. Oh, okay, that's right. I sent things from Nama. Yeah, let's see those things. Yeah, there were a few that were kind of interesting. So Pholiotina. So this is probably Pholiotina rugosa, but there's a couple of other things that look like Pholiotina rugosa. This is a deadly poisonous mushroom. Notice the little partial veil remnant, the ring on the, it's almost median. It's kind of high up on the stalk, but not very high. It's a pretty persistent ring. So this has brown spores. It's small, as you can see here. And these were growing almost right on, I think, can we see that first photo? Because I forget already what these were growing out of it. Oh, that really decomposed wood. Okay, highly decomposed wood. All right. I found this at probably this same thing at Nymph also. And it was on wood that was not all that highly decomposed, but right directly on wood nonetheless.
Dave, what kind of wood do you think that is? It looks like conifer, right?
Yeah, there was a lot of hemlock in this area where I found this. It was down along a stream in kind of a little cut area with the stream running through it, and there was a lot of hemlock. It's probably hemlock. I didn't put on here what I thought it was, but it's probably
Yeah,
hemlock.
just wondering. I agree. I don't see a lot of hemlock, but in pictures of well decayed hemlock, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, it was. I didn't want to make a claim I couldn't really back up on it. So this probably went in for sequencing. I'm pretty sure it did. So maybe we'll find out something more about this. I think it's Pholiotina rugosa.
Yeah, so Pholiotina sits in the family Boletaceae. So Bolbetus. So
Oh,
I actually thought these things looked a little bit like Gavarina, and it
yes,
crossed my mind, like, are these poisonous too? And you said
Yeah.
it, they're deadly poisonous because they do
they're
have.
they're deadly poisonous. Yet they used to be in Conaceae.
Correct. Yes, but
Oh,
the molecular studies support Pholiotina.
Yes.
is anything in Canosope that has an annulus, like a well-defined one?
Oh, Conaceae?
Yeah.
No, it was just these guys, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know why these were in Conaceae. Maybe the spore color. I don't
Well,
know.
originally they were placed in Pholiotina, which was a probably new genus at the time, and then they were transferred to the Canosope, and then they ran the DNA and transferred them back to Pholiotina.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah,
That's what
because
the
I remember
Wikipedia
them
page
back
says.
being in Conaceae a long time ago.
And look at that hygraphanous cap. It's just like in Galerina.
Yeah. Yeah, the one thing that's different is the really well-defined ring on the stalk.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. But
And if I was able to get look at spores, they'd probably look a little different also.
It
other
stands
than
to
that, they
reason.
look Galerina. Yeah. Other than
It's
the annulus.
it stands to reason. The way they found out about the toxicity of these things is that people confused them with psilocybes and ate them.
Possibly. Yeah.
Because why would anybody even look into these, LBMs for toxicity?
When you say deadly, does that mean deadly like Gallerina or just
Yeah,
one?
Yeah, I
they
think they
have
have
they,
amatoxins.
they have amatoxins. Yes.
Okay.
So this is another example when you have a particular toxin that's spread around different genera of gilt mushrooms that are completely unrelated to each other. It means that these things have either developed independently or there was some kind of a gene transfer, horizontal, somewhere in the history, which is more common for bacteria and viruses, perhaps, but not for higher organisms. But it can still happen. I think I understand. So yeah, very interesting. Did you collect these?
Oh yes, they were. I brought them to John's attention. Yeah, I'm
And
pretty
you
sure
grabbed
they'll
them,
get
right?
sequenced. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, got it.
this was the most interesting thing I found at NAMA. So I think this is Pluteus hispidius, I think is the name. So it's got a cap that's got little tufts of hairs on it. So I'm guessing it's in section Hispidoderma. And so I think this might be Pluteus hispidus, I think is the name. Michael Quebec says very rare. So I definitely, actually, it was Jessica from Ohio DNA lab. She came up to me and she sort of warned me, like, try to get stuff on the table because they were running out of plates for sequencing. So I rushed this up there and brought it to her attention. So I think this is going to get sequenced. It's a pretty interesting one. So you can see there the free gills. You can see in this one shot the little annular region between the where the gills sort of turn back on themselves and where the stalk attaches to the rest of the cap. So this is definitely a Pluteus. But I think it's Hispidus is the name. It looks, it sort of fits the description.
That was
That was a good one, actually.
crawling on wood, or
Yeah,
no?
right on wood, right directly on a big piece of wood. Hardwood, almost certainly hardwood. Maybe oak. It was hard to say. There were several types of hardwoods in this forest where I found this.
I think it's Hispidulus.
Hispidulus. Okay, yeah, I thought I might have been missing a couple of syllables there.
Cool.
Did
Yeah,
John
that was a pretty good one.
did John grab this one as well?
No, I think they were NAMA was very interested in getting things into the sequencing queue, and they had people there from OMDL. Jessica from OMDL, she I tried to bring it to her attention. So
Yeah, like they
John
need
was
more
there
mushrooms
too.
for
So
sequencing.
they may have both taken his samples. I don't know. But it's very likely this will end up getting sequenced. Oh, this is a cool little thing to find. And I'm pretty sure of the identification here because I found this in the past. Gymnobolus picreus. So this photo is not too good here because this photo is the only reason I took this photo is to get the voucher slip in there. There's better photos probably coming up. Yeah, that's a little better there. So I'm pretty sure this is Gymnobolus picreus, and there's probably yet another photo that's not taken where they were collected. I think I probably tried to pose them onto a piece of cardboard or something. Oh, that photo is not too bad. Some of them are still attached to the wood. So this is a wood inhabiting fungus. Gymnobolus mushrooms are usually a little bigger. They're usually a little more orange. The gills are usually a little more yellow or orange. So this species is fairly unique. There's another one that looks something like this, Gymnobolus bellulus, which has very small spores. So I can't really rule out that possibility here. But Picreus has a little bit more color overall in the fruit bodies than Bellulus. And as usual, when I'm at a big foray, I don't take my time and take as many photos as I usually would, and pick out a really good one. The big forays are a lot of fun, but I always feel kind of rushed at the big forays. There's always so much to do. That photo's not bad, but once you zoom in, it's not great. So, there's another pose. Oh, that was actually not too bad, it looks like, even though it's placed on the white background.
Can't see the gills though.
Yeah, you can't see the gills except on that one. You can sort of see them a little bit.
Yeah, but I can't make them out.
No, you can't really. So they're not the best photos. This species is pretty well documented in a variety of field guides, and I'm sure Michael Quebec has it. It's small. It's a small Gymnobolus mushroom, wood inhabitor.
Nice.
Oh yeah, there's some colonoscopies. I found some colonoscopies at this one site, Sweet Pond, I think it was called. So these were pretty cool. These great big dark umbo. So mostly pine. There was beech and maple. So I don't know. In order to get to first base with these, I think you need to scope some gill material and see if there are pleurocystidia, and if there are not, then you know it's not a true anosogeny, and then you might be able to make a reasonably good guess about pseudosperma, inosperma, or malospermy. And sometimes actually you can zoom in on the gills like here and look at the edges and see if they look a little grainy. And if they don't, then chances are there's not a lot of chylocystidia. So that would suggest genus anosogeny, but
Is this a twisted stipe too?
any of them could be like that. Not any of them, but quite a few.
No, but you said that it helps to go to the genus that way.
Nah, the thing that
No?
helps to go to the genus is you have to evaluate the cystidia on the gills. And then if you have pleurocystidia, which in genus Anosogeny almost always have some sort of ornamentation on the apex, and they're funky sort of shapes and things. If you find those, then you know you have genus Anosogeny. If you don't find pleurocystidia, but you find a lot of chylocystidia, which would be right on the edge of the gill, and sometimes you can see those because there's a lot of them. So you can just see the gill edge look a little bit grainy. Not really seeing it here. So maybe this is a true anosogeny, but I would not venture a guess even to the level of genus. But it's some sort of Anosobaceae.
And Dave, I know we've talked about this before, but if they have nodulospores, that puts it in.
Yeah, if you see nodulospores, then you know you have anosogeny. But if you see nodulospores, you're probably also going to find pleurocystidia.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, but the nodulospore, so just a spore drop would be enough to say genus Anosogeny if you see the nodulose or irregularly shaped spores. The other genera have like ellipsoid to bean-shaped spores.
Dave, I don't know much about these Anasabaceae, but I think I know more about Molossaby than any of the other genus, and I don't think this is Molossaby.
No, I don't think this is Molossaby. My guess is this is either either a pseudosperma or Inosoby.
Inosperma, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, or pseudosperma, inosperma, or Inosoby. It's one of those three. And the funny thing is that there are some Inosoby species for which there are very, very similar looking pseudosperma or inosperma. So that's where it gets confusing.
Did it have the characteristic smell?
No, you know what? I forget if I smelled it. I don't think I did. Yeah. I should have. Yeah, I don't remember. Does it say anything in the notes? I don't think I smelled them.
Because whenever I see these small things, I try to smell them.
Yeah, I know. I should have done that.
Because sometimes it surprises you and you have a different odor.
Yeah, I think where I found these, there were like two other types of mushrooms growing like within the same couple of square yards. So I was kind of in a hurry to collect them and photograph them and put them into my storage thing, my specimen box. Yeah, they're pretty interesting. These will get sequenced. I'm pretty sure. Well, these were on one of the first forays, so there wasn't any problem. Oh wait, number 8. Oh, there were a lot of forays at NAMA. There were an awful lot of walks. NAMA was big. There were like over 300 people there. So I'm pretty sure this one will get sequenced. I brought it to John's attention, and I never saw these on the table, so they were pulled. And they're going to get sequenced.
Did you, so
uh,
they were pulled, you didn't do any work on them, micro?
No, there's no time. I don't have time for that kind of stuff at these big
Or,
forays. That's
or
what I was
even,
saying before. The big
or,
forays are fun, but
yeah,
but
but
it's
even to collect one for later so that you know that the
nah,
thing
I
that is
didn't
getting
bother.
sequenced has a footprint on it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I know. That would be a good thing to have done. And I may have done that too, because I could have always, because I had a few microscope slides with me. I could have even just reserved one fruit body and collected some spores on it and maybe put a little piece of gill on it and wrapped it up in some wax paper and brought it home. Yeah, I should do that really. I do that when I go to a spend time more leisurely,
Sure. Yeah,
like
no, and I know it's more,
yeah, the big forays are really it's such a rush all the time.
Dave, I just want to attest to that. Even Coma this year was like a madhouse. It was just so much to do. It was like unbelievable.
Yeah, the big forays they're kind of fun. I like because you see a lot of people, you get to just hang out with a lot of cool people and talk mushrooms, and sometimes you'll see some really interesting mushrooms. Um, but it's really it's just the day goes by in no time. You feel like you don't have time to do everything you want to.
Yeah, even Helen Mycnus, which is a much smaller foray than even Coma, was pretty intense.
Yeah,
Especially if
that
you
was a
spend a
little
lot,
more laid back.
yeah,
Um,
but if you spend a lot of time in the ID room, then it becomes very intense.
yeah, yeah, especially if there's a lot of things coming in.
Lena, Dave, before you go with this one, did you see Lena Skuzma at either Nymph or Nama?
No,
Okay,
no, I didn't see Linus.
all
If he
right,
was
thanks.
there, I'm pretty sure I would have run into him.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so nobody knew what this was. I didn't collect it. It was collected on site at Nama, right on the place where we were staying, and I kind of thought it looked maybe like some sort of Hypholoma, like Hypholoma subviridi, but way wrong color. I talked to Renee. Actually, Renee brought them over to me, and she wanted to know what my opinion was. Renee LeBouf, and because she didn't know what they were, and I said, maybe some sort of Hypholoma, and she agreed. She said, yeah, that's the only thing she could come up with, but the color is very very strange. I mean, I didn't do any analysis on these. I mean, I don't know what these are. they're they're pretty interesting. So these will definitely get sequenced. I can't see where they're gonna not run these things through the queue.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, very
Yeah,
interesting.
and now that would be so no chance these are Pholiotina or something like that.
It's not out of the question.
Yeah. Well,
They look like
LVM.
hyphalomas to me, really. The wood inhabiting hyphalomas,
Yeah,
the
when I
bigger
think of
ones.
Hyphalomas, I just think of mushrooms with different color of the gills.
Different color, way
Yellow.
different color.
Yellow.
Yep, way different
Yeah.
color. That was what thrown us off, was the color. So I thought
Kind
I
of
would share the observation just because those are very interesting.
kind of orange tony, right? All through and through.
Yeah, that's what they looked like. My camera did an all right job of recording the color because that's what they looked like.
Kind of a brownish orange.
Brownish orange. Yep.
And the gills are attached completely, or
Yeah,
they
they're attached, and
next, I guess,
yeah,
notched
maybe a
maybe.
little bit. Yep. And they're also kind of some of them had gills that were a little lighter. Like look at the one in the upper right. You can see it looks
Yes,
maybe a little yellowish. So
yellow. Yeah,
that's why I thought maybe subviridi or fasciculare, but
No, these are not fascicularia.
Nah, the color is just way off.
Yeah, the color at maturity is very, very different. Like I said, when I think of Hyphaloma, I think of things like Capnoides and Lateritium, and
Yep,
it's not the
yep,
color.
right. Well, there's a whole bunch of other Hyphilomas, these little like moss things.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
these
that's
are
a
not
different
that
planet
any of
altogether.
those. These remind me of the larger Hyphilomas that grow on wood, like the one species you had just mentioned, Igor.
Righto.
And
Pretty
the
interesting.
color,
So I
the
don't know what
colors,
these are.
colors would fit for fasciculare or uh, lateridium. Not really, because there's not enough yellow, right?
Nah, Lateridium has pale gills that turn grayish and then go real dark.
Correct.
And there's usually some partial veil remnants on the cap margin, or maybe a little zone on the stalk.
Yeah. We call
Capnoides
it
is yellow with maybe a little bit of orangish on the center of the cap. Fasciculari and subverti are yellow and the gills are green when they're young.
Yeah, the one you were thinking of. What's the other one? Not
Subverti?
yeah, subverity. That's the one. I mean, it's green, yellow, and small,
Yeah,
right?
it's very small also.
Yeah.
So these just don't seem to fit
Yeah,
anything.
That's a cool
Yeah.
one.
Now this one I'm looking here now, this one that's almost in the center of the picture. Does that have partial veil remnants clinging to the margin, or is that this little one that's sort of on the left?
The one, this one?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, I don't think so. Maybe that might be some partial veil remnant. I don't remember that.
Well, if it's going to be a hypholoma, it's going to have, you know, even if it's inconspicuous, it's going to have some partial veil, right?
I think they all do for at least a while. Even the small ones, I think they all do.
Yeah, that like stretching PV, right?
Yeah, and then yeah, it doesn't really form a ring usually. Sometimes a zone, or sometimes some of it clings to the margin.
Yeah, it's a cool one.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, no problem.
If people didn't get out of New Jersey, we'd probably have a lot less to see. Okay, is there anything else anybody wants to share before we call it a night? Okay, good night, everybody.
Wait. I do have something, but it's
Okay.
Oh,
it's late.
wait.
All right, the Bianca quiz at the end, okay?
Nick of time. Nick of
Oh,
time.
Here we
okay,
go
all right.
again.
Let's see. All right, so I only have a couple of things that I found today. So this one this was, I believe, a court, but you're welcome to correct me. So this is at twilight, so the color might be a bit off. It was whitish. And I'm going to show you the next. Where's the next share? There you go.
Yeah, it's a court. Maybe
But
the
I'm not
same
used to them.
alboviolaceus.
You think that's the purple violaceus?
No, alboviolaceus.
Elbow violaceus. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Got it.
something similar to what Brandon has shown um, earlier in the session. But there's a whole bunch of them, so yeah, it's
Yeah, I'm not
definitely
used to them growing in a pod like that.
you can see the cortina
Right.
that stretches between the cap margin and the stipe, and that's going to break very soon.
Yep. All right. So at least I'm good with the court. Next. I have a Lactarius. Where'd it go? This one. This is the top.
Everything is small.
Yeah, it's relatively smaller. Then there's, so this is what it looked like. And I
Yeah,
didn't
I think
notice
that,
at first. The latex was like a highlighter color you can see right at the base.
yeah.
And then I cut it into the cap to find more.
It's like
Right.
that Cribaria type of thing, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Is it zonate, like concentrically zonate, even kind of
The cap?
pale? Yeah.
Yeah, the caps.
I didn't notice any kind of maybe that top. No, I really think they were all
Maybe
kind
the
of.
big one sort of gives you an idea, like there's some kind of lines,
Well,
concentric rings.
that's a hole that was eaten into the mushroom.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Top
Beyond the
left.
hole. You can see like on the
Oh, a
margin,
little
like
edge.
there are these
Oh,
concentric
I see
lines.
it.
Yeah,
Okay. All right, maybe.
Maybe the
yeah.
one on the upper left of that last photo is a better example. You can
Well,
see a little bit, but I'm far from certain, um,
Or
because
the pinkish types kind of makes sense.
yeah, and the yellow milk. This looks hardwood dominant, right? That
well,
all
it was.
lines up with Chrysarias.
Yeah, Cribaria is hardwood. The Vanaceae rufescens is the conifers.
There
That
was both.
looks similar, but yellow milk, readily kind of throw in yellow milk.
Did they change
Yes,
the color
readily.
right away? Like, immediately from white to greenish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, that's our hypothesis at least
Okay.
at this time.
All right, moving on. I think this is SuIllelloidea. It was
Yeah,
very shiny cap, but I
probably
think
salmon color. That would be my guess. Flip it over.
flipping it over.
Let's see that partial veil. Yep,
Uh-huh.
there we go.
Okay, great. Glad to
So
hear
it's
that.
salmon color.
Oh, what does the cap look like there? What'd you say, Igor?
I'll
The
give you the
Salmon
cap again.
color?
yeah, the
Here's the cap.
salmon colored swivus.
Oh, okay. So it's not acid. Oh, okay. Acidus would not
Yeah,
have
this
the.
is the Pine Barrens type thing. Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay. Yeah, I think acidus would not have that sort of. Oh, what's the word? Fibrillose looking cap. Okay.
yeah, we don't have acidus in the Pine Barrens. Acidus is a more of a boreal kind of a hemlock, uh, pine woods. So
Fine.
yeah,
Yeah, I just got done seeing them a few times because they were at NAMA, and I think
right.
somebody found one at NAMA also.
Yeah,
So that was in my
it
mind.
likes to be up north. I've never seen
Right.
that species in South Jersey. Okay, so we're looking here at Amanita crenulata, I think.
All right, let me show you the cap just in case. And that is right here.
Yeah, that's crenulata.
You know what?
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this sort of
Champagne.
the UV on the cap looks like it.
Yeah, kind of a
And
powdery.
Powdery. I thought the base of the
about the
stock looked a little funny for that one.
Right. What about the base of the stalk for that, Dave? I thought the same
hold
thing.
on.
Yeah,
It
that
looked
looked a little
kind of
funny for crenulata.
looked like almost sake.
No, it's not sake. It's just the sand, and
Okay.
you get the rings of.
And look at the band. You
Yeah,
can see the
it looks
band.
a little muscaroid actually.
Yeah, well, it's Amanita section Amanita, so
Right.
there's going to be some features that sort of in the ballpark. Yeah, but this is not muscaria. I think this is crenulata. This is a bona fide crenulata.
One of the ways that I've learned to ID that one is that champagne UV material that on the band, not yellow, it's champagne. And that last photo, that's what we saw.
Yeah,
Yes, that's true.
and now after I've seen this massive 98-page paper on the Lycoperdon, I'm not even IDing these puffballs anymore.
Sorry.
Yeah, I should
All right.
Bianca, I should send you that paper or send you the link
No
because
thanks.
that download is like you cannot even send it out. It's so huge.
Uh,
Yeah,
all right.
that was
Well.
the right answer, Bianca. No, thank you. I'm good.
Yeah, I don't think this is Lycoperdon. I think it's some other genus probably.
Oh, I found something like this. I think at NAMA, and someone proposed on INET, I think. Yeah, it's not Lycoperdon. It was something else. Or it might have been. Let me look.
Well, you'll be amazed how many genera there are out there for these Lycoperdon sensilato. It's just
Right.
like, probably 20 or something. That paper is from 2024, so it's very fresh, and it's basically like a monograph on the family. And yeah, this is Tephrasia delineata.
Yeah, we know this one.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that. I missed that photo.
I'll come back to it.
And
Yeah,
this looks
no-
like some kind of a.
That's
Is
the
this the
same.
same mushroom?
That's the same mushroom.
Yeah, that's Tephrasia delineata, which is our
Gossipina.
no
not
Gossipina.
not
Yeah,
Gossipina,
Gossipina is
right?
European, so you can forget about that one.
No, it's the other way around, I think.
No. Dave, it changed. It changed
It
back.
changed? When did it change?
Well, Steve Russell sequenced something 3 years ago, and he basically published it in his own journal as Tephrasia delineata, which is the North American species that was described by Smith as Cephirella.
Right.
Oh,
And
okay. So
Tephrasia,
it went back to the original species name.
it
Could
went
you
back
put
to the
those
American name.
names in the chat? I'm not quite getting those names because I'm not familiar with them.
Yeah, I'm going to type them in.
And
So is that
Igor,
the like the
Igor just
corrugated
explained
one?
this. Go ahead. What'd you say, Chris?
Is that like the corrugated?
Yeah, wrinkled cap. They,
Well, you have to
unmistakable.
be a little bit careful here because there is this alleged species that was said to be a lookalike for what was then called Satharella delineata. I think it was called Satharella rugosa or something. But it looks like that does not exist. That it was actually just someone mistakenly classifying a Lacarimaria that was, and that species or that genus sometimes has mushrooms with wrinkled caps. But if you look at the description of spores for the so-called Satharella rugulosa, I think it was, the spores don't fit. But anyway, yeah, wrinkled Satharella is what they called this thing.
All right. Well, that was the quick quiz. Thank you so much. You did really great.
Yeah, if you give me a minute, I might have a name for that puffball.
Okay.
Just give me 2 or 3 minutes. I'm looking now. Because somewhere in the last 2 weeks, I found something like that. It was actually on wood. It was back in NAMA. It was NAMA, so I'm going to have to go a few pages back here. It was on wood in a spot with a lot of hemlock, but I don't know what kind of wood it was. Well, let me see here. I think I'm getting close because I'm back into my. Oh, here we are. So I just said Lycoperdon, but if I can find the INAT observation, and here it is. Here's the INAT observation. Somebody proposed Lycoperdon subincarnatum. a species that I don't know. And I'm just returning to this for the first time now since I've been back. So I haven't really looked this up to see if it makes sense. Lycoperdon. Oh, it was actually it was Taylor Garrett Taylor proposed Lycoperdon subincarnatum. So let me look on Myco Quebec here. See if they have it.
While you're looking that up, is SuIllelloidea edible?
Yeah. You have to peel the cap though.
SuIllelloidea? Yeah, a few of them are like not too bad if you peel the cap. SuIllelloidea spraggii is very good in my opinion.
And decipiens.
That one I don't know. But the other ones are like edible if starving. I guess Weaverae is not too bad. Subarius is probably okay.
Yeah,
Oh, here we
Sabarius is
are.
another
It's
one
on.
that doesn't have to be peeled, so it's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to put a link in the chat here for Lycoperdon subincarnatum because it looks like a possibility. You know, we might want to compare. Because I didn't know this species. Lycoperdon subincarnatum. I just have to load it from the Myco Quebec. Okay, so I'm going to put in the chat. I'm going to put a link.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna put a
And
link
there it is.
to that
The link
paper.
is there.
I'm gonna put a link on that Lycoperdon paper if anybody wants to take a look because it's a massive opus. So you do have to download this onto your computer. Yeah, here's the link of the PDF. It's 98 pages long. Nice, colorful trees with shapes of the fruit bodies and spores, ornamentation. Very elaborate. You know, I don't know how many American species they captured because this is a paper from China. But it basically, in essence, describes all the possible genera in the Lycoperdon around the world. So even though there are not many American species in there, we probably still have quite a few entities from those unusual genera.
And the ornamentation on Lycoperdon spores tends to be very, very, very small. So you almost need to have 1,000 times magnification to see it.
Yeah, they're all warty, and some of them have tails, some of them don't.
Yeah, they're not all warty. Some of them are smooth, but the ones that have warts are so small it's hard to tell they're not smooth.
Well,
Gotcha,
the
that's it for me.
the ones I'm looking at, only Calvaceae has smooth spores. Everybody else has ornamented spores.
Perlatum that has ornamented spores.
Let me take a look at
Oh,
the
I'm sorry.
tree.
No, it's Apioperdon pyriform. That's not a Lycoperdon. Okay, Apioperdon pyriform. I think that one has smooth spores.
Yeah, maybe Epiperdon is not on this. No, Epiperdon. No, it's ornamented.
Well, then it must be Perlatum.
No. It says here Epiperdon piriforme. This is the only species, as far as I know, from that genus. So it's a monotypic genus. The spores
Yeah.
are warty.
Yeah, so I think it's Perlatum then, because I've been through this with myself a few times.
Well, the thing is, maybe what they're showing here are the scanning electron micrographs, and maybe they look warty under the high
Okay.
magnification.
Yeah,
if
it
you're
says on
looking,
Myco Quebec, Lycoperdon perlatum has finely warded spores.
yeah, the only smooth spores that are found in Lycoperdon are in Calvaceae.
Oh, okay.
Everybody else has a some kind of a peppered with stuff on the surface.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, and I haven't read that paper. I know you sent it to me. Is Bovista in Lycoperdon?
Absolutely. So here's the list of genera: Utraria, Leptocolus, Bavistella, Lycoperdiscus, Holocotylan, Lycoperdon, Vacellum, Morganella, Sino, which means Asian, Sinoperdon, Fuscospina, Pseudoperdon, so pseudofart, Asian fart, and then wolf fart. Great names. I love them. Epiperdon, and I forget about that one. I guess it has epio means an opening at the apex. Bovista, Bryoperdon, Arachnion, Globaria, Calvacia, Diceda, Abstoma, and Mycenastrum. So those all things are in Lycoperdon.
Yeah, and I just brought up Bovista because don't they mostly have smooth spores, but they have a tail, like a big old.
Well, they probably look
projection?
smooth under normal scope, but if you look at them at much higher magnification, they will have an ornamentation.
I meant to ask actually, Igor, we found the oh my gosh, my brain, the hen under an oak, a dying oak,
It was a dead oak, yes.
dead oak. But I ended up finding my second batch, and I went to double check under what I think is a silver maple, because the leaves were very unique. They had a lot deep cutting of the leaf shape. Does that sound normal under maple?
No.
That's what
Maybe it was something else. Maybe it was Myripolis, because I just see Myripolis here growing on the roots of a tree that was cut down on my property some years ago, and I've never seen it before on at this spot. So apparently you can still have Myripolis samstenii growing in the fall. By the way, we're getting the rain now.
Oh, Igor,
I'm here.
Yeah, I just looked up Apioperdon pyriform. So Michael Quebec says the spores are sub-smooth. But when you look at the photos, they have photos of the spores. They look like they're smooth. And Mushroom Expert says smooth spores. I knew that one of them supposedly had smooth spores.
Well, I encourage you to take a look at the paper, at least, not to read it in its entirety, but look at the trees, just, because they show, actually they have pictures of representative species for every genus in that tree.
Maybe he'll howl.
To
Yeah.
answer
Let's see.
Bianca's question, hen in the woods is found on maples, oaks, and elms.
And beech and cherry.
So it looks like it just likes hardwoods, preferably oak, but it can grow on anything else.
Yeah. Beech and oak are in the same family. I found hen of the woods on beech today.
Igor, what was the name of the one that you mentioned you thought it was? Can you put it in the chat?
Sorry, what?
That you said it might not be hen, but instead something else growing on maple.
Yeah. I was
Blackening
talking about
polypore.
the blackening polypore, Myripolis.
Okay.
Also, can y'all hear the rain? I'm standing on the balcony. It happened. No. It was just Igor, as soon as you said, "Here comes the rain," 35 seconds later.
Yeah, I mean, it was like it lasted 10 seconds.